Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a Premier League presentation bringing you guys a game between Mouse and Alliance. This is the first game of a best-of-3 series, going to be deciding the grand final, first and second place for the Premier League Mjolnir Cup. It's been a very long day, a lot of interesting strategies, a lot of cool action as far as Dota 2 goes. There is a small technical issue with the stream and disabling my overlays for right now, but should not be that big of a deal. I'll just have to troubleshoot it over the week. Either way, going to conclude with this final match before we are done for the day. Thank you guys so much for tuning on in. Once again, am Blaze, joined by Triumph of Man. What's going on?
Yeah, well, like I said, apology to Mousesports. Every time I bet items on them, they lose horribly, so hopefully tonight they can carry it through. But Alliance opening up with the tree ban, load a bit of a Rizrack. It's not like this tree at all. Going to make sure it's not going to hit the pool. Now, the question is, how many heroes that belong... Well, obviously, they've got to get their Wisp ban out of the way first. But then, the usual thing against Alliance is, it's a question of how many Bulldog heroes get banned. This is usually how it goes. In this case, probably just going to be the Lone Druid, I guess. I mean, that's pretty much his #1 star hero, to be honest. Everybody knows him as Admiral Bear Dog, and he definitely, I mean, I don't think anybody else plays the Silver Bear quite like he does, but Alliance with their next ban here, what are they going to knock off? What have you got any thoughts here? I mean, it could even be just the OD. The OD has been a bit of a powerhouse hero today.
Yeah, but it's not something that actually Mousesports prefer to run, generally speaking. I mean, Fata is a very flexible mid player that could run one of those kind of core, more right-click oriented heroes, but in general, it's just not his style. He much has a different array of heroes, but it's a completely different system of his preference. And yeah, in general, we see more often in the Russian scene that OD has been becoming the hero to pick, but I don't think that Mousesports are very well known for it. I don't think Alliance are very scared of it in these particular circumstances. So most likely we're probably just going to see something simple, in this case taking out Black's option for the Lifestealer, and might as well just get those carry bans out of the way, because Mousesports doesn't usually pick up Black's carry until at least the third and fourth pick stage, and from there the Lifestealer taking him out, they're just adding it on so they can get 3 carry bans rather than just the 2.
Yeah, I mean, if they're not going to play the... Alliance has been playing... I get the feeling we'll probably see them pick up the... What was his... Oh, Jesus Christ. The Alchemist. That's what I'm looking for. The Alchemist, if Mousesports don't grab it themselves, have been playing a lot of that. Lately, Loda does tend to run that a lot if he's not running the Lifestealer. And I mean, the Wisp is obviously banned out, so I'm not going to see anything crazy like the Wisp, Chaos Knight / Sven combinations from them, which Alliance used to run a fair bit a while back. But... the first pick for Alliance, we'll see if they grab it first. Silver Bear was indeed banned out, so Mousesports are going to make sure they don't have to deal with that at all. But I'm kind of not sure really where they're going to go with their picks just yet. We'll see what they've got in mind, whether or not they want to do something crazy, if they just want to... I mean, they could even... I mean, potentially, we could even see something with the Gyrocopter mid last... like we saw the other game against Quantic. I mean, Fado did actually work it really well. Granted, it was more, I think, down to the fact that Quantic was sort of almost outplaying themselves just because they were just diving into fights they did not need to dive into at all. And just, I mean, they had no way to initiate effectively, and they got punished for it heavily. And it looks like they're just going to open up with a quick pick there on Nature's Prophet, so they will have access to that split push. That said, stuff like Batrider can shut him down fairly heavily and can pick him off when he tries to do that sort of shenanigans, so he may not be able to really... It's not as bad as, say, the CK Wisp combo, though. With the mobility of some of the relocates. So, I mean, in this case, you should be able to get a lot of damage done in. And they also grab up Nyx as well.
Yeah.
Nyx is a really good support.
Yeah, a lot of potential up against Batrider, just pretty much walking intentionally into Firefly. You can go ahead and guarantee Spike Carapace stun. It's going to be also good against int heroes in general, draining down their mana and making it more and more difficult for item-dependent supports to actually be able to find core items because they have to keep on buying sentries or they're going to pay for it with their lives. So, in general, a great all-around pick. In this situation, I believe that Koikoa would rather be playing the Batrider in this situation, but since it was first picked, they're going to go ahead and pick up the Furion for him instead. If he feels too uncomfortable about the safe lane of Alliance, which would be his off lane, then he can just go ahead and start in the jungle, and that'll guarantee him a well-timed Midas to start things off. But yeah, Alliance in a pretty happy position themselves. They can go ahead and give Admiral Bulldog that Batrider, either in the off lane or the jungle, and then sharing the jungle, of course, would be the Chen, piloted by Ake. Very, very micro-intensive player, and be perfect fit for this hero here. I've been seeing some really, really cool plays out of him. A big emphasis here is going to be for push early game. Chen is going to be able to knock them down very quickly with a simple Basilius, and therefore they're probably going to be going for something that can synergize with that pretty well for at least the 2 heroes on the bot lane.
I mean that. I mean even without any crazy push, extra heroes to push with, just having access to a mech and a Hand of God makes your team so much tankier. That said, with an Nyx Assassin, the gank potential from him is quite high, and Chen's going to have to be careful because he is going to get scouted and routed when he gets to around that 15-20 minute mark. Like, he's going to have to be careful when he's trying to replenish creep or even just farming the jungle, because it's going to be easy for Nyx to set up attacks on him. And of course, Chen, kind of squishy, no good escape mech, so very easy to pick off in there, especially if Nyx does actually get up to a good rolling start. And I mean, for all we know, it could be a solo mid Nyx, which does work out just fine as well. They're not committed either way just yet.
Yeah, they do have that flexibility available, and that's pretty good. I mean, most of the time when you see the Nyx, you expect Cinderin to pick it up, but it isn't out of the question if they feel it would be a favorable 1v1 mid matchup to throw him in there. It actually could allow him to play more of a snowball-oriented setup, where it's just get early on the Vendetta ranks, maybe pick up a Dagon as a first or second item, and yeah, move in so that he can just get kills after kills after kills. And right now, Alliance doesn't have a great answer for him. Once Chen picks up the mech, of course, that'll be a decent one. But in general, Nyx Assassin, wherever he decides to put himself, is going to be very, very effective. But as far as the follow-up picks, we are going to be seeing some interesting bans coming out of Mouse Sports. They're banning out the Clockwork and the Darkseer, thinking that the Batrider will be S4s, and if, of course, that was the case, then Admiral Bulldog's heroes would be the ones to be banning. So we'll see exactly if they are going to be running S4 Batrider, or if it is indeed going to be that of Admiral Bulldogs, as we were postulating previously. Either way, that Alchemist pick, the key carry pickup that you were talking about previously, now coming into play here, but in Black's hands this time around.
Yeah, of course, Black, Son of Burning, does farm up quite a storm. I mean, there's just some solid bans, though. I mean, Clockwork, really powerful. We've seen exactly how nasty the initiation factor from him has been during today's matches. And Darkseer, I mean, these two heroes, they're flexible. And we've seen both S4 and Bulldog play them, so regardless of who could be potentially playing them, I mean, either of these two players could be picking them up, and they are all round just, if you're not going to use them, might as well get rid of them, because they are aggravating to play against, particularly the Clockwork. Nature's Prophet does not like Clockwork at all. He's trying to split push, trying to do his thing, and then just suddenly out of nowhere, hook shot, cogs, battery assault, you're not going anywhere. Shadow Demon being picked up by Alliance, so it looks like we'll be seeing EGM on the Shadow Demon. Aki playing the Chen, and the question is, what are they going to have beloaded there? Now, this is a little dangerous, just because Chen in the jungle, Shadow Demon has not got the most offensive playstyle there early on. So if they take Nyx, Alchemist, and then, say, some kind of range support, like a Lina, throw a Lina or something in there, that's really difficult to farm against. That's really even difficult to lane against, because so much kill potential there. Obviously, you know, defensive Trons have the backfiring potential, but I mean, if something goes a little bit wrong, you can always just rotate Alchemist away, and then he'll catch right up with Greevil's Greed. So it's not a big loss if you like lose a kill there. Obviously, if you overcommit and stay there all day long, yeah, that'd suck and you can mess things up badly there. But that said, I mean, you can zone them really. Not only can you zone them really hard with Acid Spray, but at the same time, I mean, there's just the kill potential is huge. But a Luna being picked up by Loader there,
that's fine.
I think that will probably keep them away from going for an offensive tri lane.
Yeah.
Just because she can look after herself from distance, doesn't get zoned as hard, and of course she's got a good nuke as well.
Yeah, I really like the Shadow Demon selection at the timing that Alliance put it forward. It meant that that wasn't an option for Mouse Force to synergize together. The Disruption into Impale into Concoction is a pretty standard tri-lane combo, and that's something that they would have felt threatened by. So they go ahead and pick up one of EGM's more powerful heroes, and on top of that, take something out so that Alchemist has less options himself. Of course, they still had the Bane, the Rubik, and the Visage. They go for the Visage themselves in this scenario here. The cool thing about Luna is Moonglaives can bounce to the Familiars, take them out of play pretty quickly, as well as providing some early push potential. She'll pick up the Basilius so Chen doesn't have to, and add in that Lunar Blessing so they can just put out some really hard right clicks onto the tower very, very early. Now, in my personal opinion, I would have looked at the Gyrocopter instead of the Luna, but there are some positives to the Luna specifically, and how mobile she is, and how she can go toe-to-toe with Alchemist. So, one way or another, that's their selection of choice. Loda gonna be carrying it up, definitely a defensive tri lane up on the top. That's Shadow Demon, Chen, and Luna, and then we'll see exactly where the Batrider will be going with their next pick.
I mean, Luna right now, she's one of the big bonus. Obviously, she's a little squishy, but with Chen as well as Shadow Demon for the disruption save, she's going to be pretty hard to isolate and take down. Even if Nyx tries to open up on her, you just turn a disruption on her, and suddenly you buy time for Chen to get his heals ready, and suddenly she's back to nearly full health. It's very difficult to stop her and bring her down quickly. On top of that, on top of that as well, I should also mention they have banned out the DK, which is an S4 hero, so it looks like they're more worried about him in the mid there, and they're expecting Bulldog on the Batrider here, I think. So they're just thinking about, and I mean that's really the only question left, whether or not it's Bulldog in the mid, if it's Bulldog on the Batrider, if it's going to be S4. Puck though being picked up by Mousebots. It looks like we'll see a fatter Puck here. And that, of course, is devastating, although not as bad as we've seen previously today, because, of course, Nake's bombs were a big part of it, so we won't be seeing... I mean, if you drop a Nake's bomb on top of Luna, it's going to disappear very quickly. There's not much they can do about that, even if you can throw in the Chen heal and stuff as well, or even Chen could even get caught up in it. Obviously, the Waning Rift is a big problem as well. But now, the final pick here, and this will tell us where the Batrider is going. Alliance selecting their final hero, whether or not it's going to be belonging to Bulldog or S4.
The way the day's been going, I was going to say I wouldn't be surprised if it was an Obsidian, but going for the Templar, that's going to be a fun little pick there. So S4 going Templar Assassin versus the Puck in the mid lane there, and that's going to be very, very interesting indeed. So I definitely think TI, of course, has a huge advantage compared to the Puck. Sideblade harassment is consistent, so the Puck can't just phase shift out of each and every one of them. And along with that, the Puck doesn't have a great way of dealing with refraction. So in general, Templar Assassin's in a good spot. On top of that, if you look at pretty much every single hero on Mousesport's lineup, they don't have a lot of great ways to take down multiple instances of block. Of course, there's the Acid Spray, and then there's summons, like the Treants and the Familiars, but it's not going to guarantee anything one way or another. So it's a good hero pickup. It's going to be very, very nice in the fact that they have a lot of physical damage output already, and the meld just enhances that. And in general, it's just going to be really, really fun here to see. Now, one thing you mentioned was the ban of the Dragonite, worried that would be what S4 had to pick up, and I actually think that's a really, really smart ban, because a Dragonite getting a tail off on Alchemist when he's halfway through charging his concoction can turn it around in full, where Alchemist is suddenly going in, taking at least like 2.5 seconds of stun from Dragon Tail, and then adding on his up to 4-second stun from his own brew. So that combined together, I think it was actually a really, really smart draft for both teams, but right now Alliance kind of playing more to their style, and I think that Mousesports are the ones to kind of shake things up a little bit.
We'll see what they've got up their sleeve deep, but I've got to say, Templar Assassin, been a while since we've seen S4 play this, but he is one of the best of the business when it comes to that TA, and we'll see exactly how much damage he causes, but definitely I agree, he has got so much more potential in the mid lane against Puck than Puck does against him. Just that burst, like Puck really, he wants burst damage, and Fatter just doesn't really, or rather, Fatter just won't be able to dish out the damage effectively at all against refraction. S4 will just eat it up and laugh it off. Meanwhile, the Synderen will be opening up with the Nyx Assassin. I'm going to call out the teams here. So, for Alliance, we have S4 on Templar Assassin, Aki on Chen, no surprise. I mean, this is predictable. It's all hell. Loader playing Luna, EGM on Shadow Demon, and Bulldog there on the Batrider. Mousebots, so Synderen playing the Nyx Assassin, Quokova on the Nature's Prophet, Fatter on the Puck, Pass on Visage, and Black on the Alchemist.
Starting things off, a lot of blocking going on in the mid, of course, trying to pull the creep wave as best in their favor as possible, especially if S4 can get on his high ground. It would be amazing versus the Puck, but for right now, Fata doing a very nice job himself. It's going to go range creep in the mid and equaling itself out pretty evenly. One thing that's interesting, though, is the rotation of Synderen coming on in with this refraction already put up by the Templar Assassin and the block already having been used, and along with that, the mana burn. It does mean that now S4 is sitting on only 130 mana, has one refraction available, and until he gets his bottle, it's going to remain that way.
I'm just going to say, you missed it. I don't know if you saw the play on bottom lane, but you missed a cool play by Alliance there. Furion, see what he's doing right now. He tried to jack the first wave. However, they actually body blocked the creep with the trees and didn't let it through. So the treant couldn't actually jack the creep wave to the safety of the towers. That's why Furion's missed out on his first wave of creep.
Interesting.
Upset him somewhat.
Yeah, I mean, the idea of it is still going to be to delay the creep wave and to screw up the creep equilibrium a little bit, but yeah, good movement. Did you say EGM was the one who made that specifically?
It was a mix of all of them there, working on it. They were all working together doing it.
Oh, well, that just sets it up so that they don't get nearly as much for the profit. He will, of course, get this one wave of experience, but sitting here, yeah, he's not even going to get level 2, and then, or he does get level 2 from the single wave, but beyond that, he's not going to get too much as far as farm and experience goes in general.
I'm going to say, look at the mid lane. Very smart rotation there from Mousesports. They brought the Nyx Assassin just for a moment. Just brought him down here for a moment. But it's all they need to do. See, Templar Assassin, she doesn't have any mana left because he just spent a couple of mana burns. And because Refraction had that cost increase, it's actually pretty significant against her. She's still managing... the bottle's on the way now on the Snarl. Yeah, there it is. It's on the way, but it has slowed her down a little bit. and allow Puck to get ahead of us. So that was a nice move there from Mouse Sports. That said, now that the bottle's out, I don't think that's going to be as viable anymore. And it's just going to be, I think he's actually going to be better off served just making sure he gets his levels so he can put some pressure on the jungle with Vendetta.
Absolutely. So now in this position here, we are seeing that the Bat Rider is going for the jungle, stacking things up extensively. He does have 4 napalm stacks and just fireflying things down, except for the little Satyr Banisher in the back. But yeah, they're going to be able to bring that down. Bulldog going to be able to pick up some early items, probably just to boost speed, moving it towards Tranquil Boots to allow him to just jungle pretty much indefinitely.
Just watching Bulldog falling very low there. Lucky he didn't actually. He might actually. No, he should be just fine there. I just was not. He's going to try and beat someone off before he goes to heal. Yeah, he should just pick up this creep fairly easily before he goes to heal. But that's about it there. Now on the bottom lane though, I'm just looking at this Furion, still level 2 right now. Shadow Demon's still hitting level 1. Where's Luna gone? Luna's backed all the way off there. I think she might have gone down to just Leech experience at the pull as well, potentially. But now she's got her Tranquils as well. Going to come back and pick up the experience once again. At the moment, I'm thinking, like, at the moment, one of the downsides to the Mouse Sports lineup is the fact that they are not going to be leeching. I don't think they're going to be earning money quite as fast, aside from the fact that Black obviously is destabilizing the relationship with Reevil's Green. In fact, I think he's throwing the stats up a little bit as well. But overall, like, there's going to be a bigger spread of farm, just because, of course, Chen jungles a lot more efficiently than the Dire supports do, and EGM is focusing a lot on these pools. He's focusing really hard on these pools. And, of course, Batrider is actually getting a fair amount of money, whereas, on the other hand, Koikova, nowhere near as much. In fact, Batrider's actually rotated to the top lane. He feels confident enough to try and take this on now.
Yeah, he has his Tranquil Boots up so they can do some damage to him, but as long as they can't finish the job, he can always come back up with a pretty substantial heal from the Tranquils. So, along with that, he has a great amount of mobility that as long as they aren't broken, he, generally speaking, can escape most situations. Of course, there's still going to be the Grave Chill, Impale Concoction, and they can follow that up with the Assumption. But if he is close enough to his tower at the time, they shouldn't be able to get the kill, and that'll result in a lot better experience for Batrider in general.
I'm just looking at Puck. Has managed to... Actually, did he bottle up the rune there? I think he did. He managed to pick up the illusion rune there. And it looks like he's going to move in and cause some trouble. That said, he is behind on CS at the moment, of course, having to leave the lane. 19 and 12 for TA versus 13 and 5. They're, in fact, going to throw in some harass from S4. His feet out, which is a real one now. Going to harass that one down, do some damage there. Going to get rid of the illusions as well. Obviously, the illusion's able to burn through his refraction charge as well, so might as well get rid of them. Meanwhile, Bulldog going off the grid there, down low into the pit. Is going to get hit by Grave Chill. Not a big deal, though. And it's just going to continue to tap this experience here as the big wave comes in. Not only just tap the experience, source of experience and gold, but also keep them off the tower is the main thing. Make sure this tower doesn't get busted down super quick. Meanwhile, the bottom same cannot be said for Furion on the bottom lane. He's had to abandon this lane, and I have to agree with the choice. There's not much he can do here at all.
Unfortunately not. They do have the Basilius actually up on Ake, along with that an HP regen aura from the Tormentor, and they're able to take down tier 1 no problem at all. And they honestly don't have great counter push for the second one either. Like, they don't want to rotate their mid Puck when he's only just not even level 5. But this tier 2 is going to take a hammering very, very quickly, and these Treants aren't going to be what they need to actually finish it off. So right now in this position here, getting some free cash and now moving in for a very quick tier 2 tower kill, but possibly if there isn't a very substantial rotation very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, this is classic old RV, this kind of thing. They would do just bust down towers really, really, really quick and get so much extra money for their supports. And something, it's like you go into the 15, 20 mark and their supports are so much more fun there. It's like you're fighting extra heroes, essentially. They're so much tougher than your supports are in both levels as well as gold. Meanwhile, though, Koikova still trying to... I mean, he can't do anything to save this tower. I think it's just better... He'd be better off just screw it, go back to the jungle. I mean, Nyx is already sort of backed off. He's trying to angle around, but they really can't do a whole lot here. They're going to try and maybe sneak in and deny, but I don't think it's going to happen. So EGM even tanking tower hits there. Luna also going to share it around. It will be destroyed rather than denied. They don't really have any options at all. Meanwhile, S4 finds Cinder, and Cinder copying a hit there. Throws out the stun though. Slow comes in. Do we have anything from Puck? Puck's still in level 5.
Oh, wow.
First Blood though goes against Admiral Bulldog, and it looks like Carapace may keep him alive for a little bit longer, but it's just throwing out the side blade zone. Decides he doesn't want to dive, which is fair enough. I'd be a little bit worried about diving under a tower when you've got the stun there, as well as the fact that he wouldn't be able to refract anymore because the mana burn would also mess things up as well. So I think he made the right choice back off. That said, we do have the angle in from behind there from Koikova, and it looks like it should be snapped by poison, I think. Oh no, actually teleporting out. Will he find him just in time? Templar Assassin jumps in there for the second kill of the match, as it looks like we are going to see Eclipse come in. No, kill number 3. Loda rotates, picks up a kill, and I mean this is going to be a pretty problematic factor for Mousesports. Is their team fight is not as effective as Alliance. It's just basically thanks to Eclipse.
Yeah, popping off the first cooldown there, getting pretty much a free kill out of it. That's just a great way to start off. Taking down 2 towers. The second one was last hit by the Radiant in general, so that spread it across for the supports, but finding a kill on top of that, and you have already Tranquil Drum up on Luna, if that's what you want to go, or Loda farming so well, could go for a completely different item and just bypass that transitional item altogether, so we'll see exactly, but it is still important to note that Black did indeed find that first blood, with the assistance of Visage, was able to finish off the Batrider, and now he's going to get better and better. Like, he has rank 4 Grievous Greed, and although he didn't go for a Midas, I'm curious to see what that Ring of Health is going to build into. Pretty much the 2 obvious options are a Vanguard or a Battle Fury, and we'll just see how greedy this Alchemist really wants to get. We do see Central Ward drop down in mid lane, trying to force the issue onto S4, but he still has a little bit of refraction to keep him up, and this time around the rune is going to go the way of Puck if he heads down for the regeneration on bottom.
I feel like the Vanguard, I almost feel like, because he is up against, that said, I mean, I was sure there's Eclipse, but then again, it's a pretty big spread. You've obviously got all the physical damage from Templar Assassin as well, so maybe not. Maybe that's, I don't know, maybe just send the Ring of Health for laning phase and we'll just get rid of it later, we'll see. I mean, you can always sell it for half the gold, but that said, I mean, he wouldn't have bought it otherwise.
No.
Because he's not been under that much pressure. So yeah, maybe it is a Battle Fury, would be kind of weird, but not very usual. But you know what, I guess you could, it does help with flash farming a bit. But then again, I mean, you generally don't have that much trouble farming, you just throw in an acid spray and hit stuff. Tends to work out fairly well.
Yeah, if it was a Battle Fury, I feel like the Ancients would be stacked up at least 2 doubles, if not triples by now. So the fact that he's getting all that farm, it would be very well... It would be very valuable in a Battle Fury, but I don't think it's actually what he's going to be looking for. Which is kind of sad because... Oh, no, it is. Never mind. We spoke too soon. Because the Vanguard, picking up a defensive item that quickly, it just seems unnecessary. You already are pretty beefy with your ultimate, so you can jump on in and get very, very aggressive very quickly. And we're going to see that with this Battle Fury going to be picked up. So Luna gets a drum, but Black gets something altogether much more powerful. Going to be going in and just racking up GPM hardcore. So this is going to be really fun to see.
Yeah, I mean, not only that, but I mean, it gives pretty good damage. 65 damage, basically, at this point in time, at 10 minutes, it doubles his damage, basically. It's like a DD rune, practically. So it's not bad, and health regen, mana regen is always nice, I guess. Just unconventional, don't usually see it. So not terrible, but at the same time, just not usual. Mostly we see the Shadow Blade just for the sheer aggression, but then again, I suppose he is just sitting down, buckling down. I mean, it's Black, he doesn't really do the full-on early aggression thing, tends to more just buckle down for farm, so we've got to keep that in mind, I guess. There's S4, just copying some harassment in mid a little bit more, but he's not backing down at all. Meanwhile, top lane, though, we're going to about to have a fight there. Lasso there, Cinder, and Cinder getting dragged in the trees inside the Firefly. Just going to pop. No, it doesn't pop Carapace yet. There we go. Carapace throws out his Impale. Probably going to fall down, though. Luna should be able to pick up this cup. He's surprised she doesn't get Aki, though, in some trouble. Doesn't have Hand of God yet. Still only level 5. Eclipse comes in. Puck goes down. Black has to run. No mana left on Luna, so it looks like he will manage to get away. They're just going to run around inside the Acid Spray. Not really care at all. And then take some hits from the tower. Yeah. But I mean, that was a pretty bad wipe against Mouse. I mean, they lost they lost Puck, pretty core hero. Also, Nyx Assassin getting picked off, and the cost being Shadow Demon, not a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, the Puck Stream Coil was solid, same with the Waning Rift, but he has ranked up Orb over Rift, and in general, it's just like, they can shrug it off. They can deal with that kind of damage because they were all sitting on full health in the initiation. Love the movement from Bulldog through the trees, getting the pick off early. And yeah, I was kind of surprised the Carapace took its time, but in the end, they just kind of split up Mousesports completely. They realized they had to put out some pressure on Black, finally. You can't just let him farm away all game long. So they do finally bring down this Tier 1, as well as get quite a kill advantage for themselves. They're in a really good position there. Anyways, still, Black has that Battle Fury, ticking time bomb of GPM. He even goes for a Quelling Blade next. Goes for a Quelling Blade after the Battle Fury. You can't get more axes. At least Axe doesn't think so. You just... Not too many, never too many. Anyways, coming on forward, Black is going to keep on farming away. They definitely need to keep on stacking things like the Ancients, though, if they want to make sure that he is making the most of those item pickups.
Speaking of which, it looks like Furion was thinking about it and then backed off. Timing's all wrong. But that said, I mean, I don't honestly, even if they stack the crap out of stuff, I just don't know if they'll have enough time because I think they're going to lose map control. Meanwhile, there we go. We do get a gank there, and it looks like Batrider gets caught out badly.
Yeah, not exactly a gank. It was Batrider trying to find a solo pickoff to drag in towards the mid, and Alchemist just barely getting 0.5 second left in his concoction was able to throw it out and get the kill. So there you go. Batrider uses the lasso, still drops down.
Oh wow, she almost walked in with the range of the sentry. However, going to get a free kill there on pass by the looks of it, although Chen will actually take the kill there, as we still actually know Hand of God, not enough mana for that right now. Chen does not have Arcanes just up yet. There we go, Impale gets tossed out, EGM into trouble. The stuns come down from the Familiars. Another couple of hits there on EGM, and he will go down. If the Familiar pops up, in fact, could actually try and run him down, but they will pick up a kill on both Nyx as well. As well as the Necrolite there, as it looks like Fata also in some serious trouble there. Will manage to get away, so... Oh no, he gets picked off, so Necrolic...
rank 1 phase, so...
Yeah, rank 1 phase, not good enough. So Necrolic, Puck, as well as Nyx Assassin, all getting picked off one after the other. Whereas they only found a Batrider in return. I was kind of surprised Batrider's wandering around on his own, because, I mean, they've got no vision of anybody here, got no vision of anybody mid. It's like, and you've got no vision of anybody up here. It's kind of, well, where else are they going to be? It's either Roshan or all in the jungle. Doesn't really leave a lot of places. So I guess Bat was just thinking, I can firefly out of here. And did he have... He might have had the blink. I can't remember if he had the blink up or not in time. Or if he got it after he died.
I think he only just recently picked it up, so... Yeah, I don't think he had it at the time. Obviously not providing as much utility as he would need. I want to highlight real quick on one move that was on the mid lane was EGM disrupting himself right before Synderen hit him. There was actually a sentry ward down on the river that had vision of Synderen on the prowl going in to go for a hard right click. We actually see EGM down in a bad spot. Another defensive disruption coming out to keep him active. Now Bulldog jumps on in, but he does get stunned out. There's going to be a nice silence coming across, and that's going to be enough to bring down Batrider immediately, and Shadow Demon shortly after. Now it's all on S4. He can't finish off Synderen within that TP time period, and now he's in a pretty rough patch himself. Going to take some damage, but it looks like they didn't bring any detection to the party, and as a result, that TA is going to get out scot-free.
They did. It's just literally centimeters too far away from spotting him up. I want to think that that was probably a bait from EGM, that he went up there and immediately defensively disrupted himself as soon as they came near him, because then Batrider jumped them. I think that was a bait from him. That obviously Bat got picked off once. They knew they were in there, so I don't think that was just him being dumb wandering around the enemy jungle by himself. I think that was them trying to set up a fight. Unfortunately, it backfired horribly, and they just lost a whole bunch of kills. I mean, I'm pretty sure they picked off the Furion in the middle of that, but still. Not a big deal for Furion. He's already got his Midas up and running, so he's already starting to get out of control in terms... He's already going to be catching up there on gold and stuff. Not out of control yet, obviously he had a really crappy start, but he'll be catching up quite nicely. That said, meanwhile, while we still have Black farming away, trying to get up to speed, of course, they are losing towers left, right, and center. Only 2 outer towers left. Now the tier 2 on top in danger.
Yeah, now we do actually see the lasso initiation come in to bring down immediately Nyx Assassin. Didn't even have a chance to pop that carapace off. Instead, just gets brought down in a matter of seconds. And that acid spray isn't going to do enough with the mechanism used by Ake to keep them pushing here on the tier 2. They get yet another tower. Only 1 outer tower remains. And Alliance just getting such a great gold advantage out of this. Now, one thing I was trying to mention it before, but just going to highlight on EGM's usage of defensive disruptions, seeing things coming that just would completely annihilate him. Vendetta coming in from the Nyx, the Soul Assumption en route to him from the Visage. Just perfect timing to try to bait them in positioning and cooldowns, but still surviving. Now we see Fata jumping on in, going to do a lot of damage to Ake. He does not have Hand of God or Mechanism, so EGM already in the grave. Now we're going to see if Black can clean anything else up. Big right clicks, almost finishing off Bulldog. They do get him, but Black dropping so darn low, and they are barely going to get on out of there. Loda heading for the hills. They do end up losing 2 heroes for none.
Yeah, I don't know if they had the firepower just yet to siege the tier 3. I mean, they did a lot of damage, but kind of costly losing those 2 heroes, because, I mean, at the same time, Alchemist is getting very fat. In fact, Black actually did go for the Shadow Blade, and this is just it. I mean, they're trying to siege up into these tier 3s, but they're going to take a ton of damage, and Luna does not have that BKB done yet, so it's going to be fairly easy now that the Shadow Blade is done for Alchemist to move into the fight and pick her off, because obviously they can slam her and take her out before she gets off a good eclipse. That's going to be a pretty painful deal for them, and it's going to come down to whether or not they can get those defensive disruptions down. I mean, if they get the stun down on top of it, and then Puck wades in there with Rift, although that said Waning Rift, it is maxed out. Yeah, gets in there with Waning Rift and the Dream Core, that is a very, very big problem for them. If they lose those supports, like if they just lose the ability to cast spells while they're busy picking on top of Luna, suddenly that's all their team fight gone. That's most of their team fight gone, and without that team fight, I don't think Templar Assassin has the firepower yet to try and drive a fight on her own. Especially since, I mean, she opened up as well with a Blink Dagger for mobility, which obviously is still a good item, but doesn't really give her the grunt to push into a base like that just yet.
Yeah. Really, really reliant on the cooldowns and the mana supply of Chen. Then the Mechanism and the Hand of God both being on cooldown and not much mana at his disposal. It just really meant that Ake couldn't keep heroes like Shadow Demon, the Templar Assassin alive as they would intend to, and that's that kind of brute force raw HP that they really need to actually be able to siege high ground like that. So they realize, good thing for Alliance is they realize how important the timing is, that they want to get their advantage now and not only maintain it, but just make it so that it's annihilating Mousesports step by step. But they have to be a little bit cautious as well. The Arcane Boots aren't going to be up anytime soon for Chen, and as a result, the timing of their mechanisms and their Hand of Gods has to be very precise, because they don't have a second chance at that.
Yeah, I'm sort of not too sure about his build here and items. It's been a little bit weird. He's going for Vladimir's offering, obviously really good for pushing, but like you said, like it's really impacting upon his ability. Meanwhile, their jungle looks like we're going to have Bulldog as well as EGM picked up. That was questionable. I'm really not sure about Alliance wandering around like 2 men inside. I mean, they've seen multiple times. They go into the, like, all of the Dire team is hanging around the jungle. Mm-hmm. And even if they're not all there, I mean, Furon can also, he can port in as well to help out. So I don't really know why they're wandering around by themselves. I guess they thought that this ward was enough to give them vision in there, but I think that was questionable to wander around in there on their own. Very dangerous in enemy territory. Meanwhile, Black has actually opted to go and use the enemy jungle as Visage finds himself a Medallion of Courage there. But yeah, like we were talking about, like you mentioned, Chen nowhere even close to getting his Arcane Boots, and it doesn't look like he's going for it. It looks like he's going for Vlad, so this is really going to cause him trouble in terms of mana. His mana pool is going to be really, not so much bad, but his spells are expensive. Like Test of Faith, 200. Hand of God, 200. Mech, 150. That's like more than mana than he, like, it's almost in his entire mana pool. It looks like Furion will actually get away here. Also should mention that Stygian Desolator was picked up by Templar Assassin. Mm-hmm. She pretty much one shots. Oh, he kills him half a hit there.
Yeah.
One more hit would have killed him pretty much, but as it was, he managed to finish TPing away. Now the Bird's going to scout everything out here. They know what's going on, and of course the lineup that Alliance have here is very, very strong. They're cleaning up quick Roshans. The negative armor absolutely amazing for that, and looks like they will pick it off very easily, and they're going to give it to Luna.
Mm-hmm. Good position for them to go in aggressively. She has her Eclipse rank 2, so she can go in. She also has a BKB, so generally speaking, that means that Luna can be on the front lines now. She can go in and use her first life however she wishes, just auto-attacking and Lucent Beaming away, and then as soon as Loda comes back up from the Aegis, that's the time to pop off the BKB, the Eclipse, and clean house, as hopefully his teammates have been wearing down Mousesports over the short time period that the Luna wasn't available. So with that kind of strategy where they can save those big cooldowns until Loda comes in with the second life, they can easily secure a double or even a triple kill for the Luna in their next big engagement. So I'm not sure how confident Mousesports are about clashing. Generally speaking, I think they want to find just little pick-off opportunities here and there, and other than that, just kind of spread out and farm away, as we do see Black looking for Ancients, but there was a Sentry Ward trying to detect out Prophet, I think, and that has blocked it off for a little bit here. Either way, right now, the current gold advantage is almost nullified entirely, but the experience was a little bit in favor of Mousesports and is now evening out itself.
Yeah, it was that last team fight that really just helped them get ahead there. But I like the idea, like, yeah, just use Luna as bait and have her siege, although it looks like she's going to find herself a haste room. But if they can force that kind of fight at the top barracks again, they could definitely try and set up a rack, potentially. Because I think right now, actually, that's, oh, well, that said, I mean, Black does have 3.9k in the bank and could quite easily afford a buyback, so there is that, which might slow them down. I mean, they practically have their own Aegis there with that. So there's that to keep in mind. I mean, Black has been farming so crazy good. If anything's really going to slow Alliance down here is the fact that Black is getting really stupidly farmed in terms of money. For 20 minutes in, the fact he has 4k in the bank, already has his Battle Fury and his Shadow Blade done, that's pretty scary. And it looks like he's just going to opt to counter push here.
Yeah.
While they go for the tier 2 mid, they have popped the glyph there for the Dire side. Radiant still have theirs. Yes, still have theirs up and running. He may actually, I think he actually does need to pop back though. Yeah, he's on his way back right now. And we're going to see an engagement here. Batter takes a lot of damage, doesn't have the ability to jump back in there. Has to back up, gets hit by the Purge there from Shadow Demon. Are they going to move in just yet? Black's thinking about it, skulking. And there we go. Vladimir's is done, but again, that leaves Chen with very little mana. And he can't really use his spells offensively. He needs to save him for those heals.
So he's...
There we go.
They're kind of using Koikwa to split push while Alchemist can come back on into this, but they really need to get some defensive items. Right now, jumping on in, Cindering gets shredded immediately. There's that Eclipse. Ambi can be coming out immediately. Vata popped off a couple great spells, still alive, still kicking, but not for much longer. There are the right clicks. There's Lucent Beam. They're cleaning this up like crazy. Buybacks everywhere, just incinerating them. They have so much damage right now. They also popped off the Mechanism in the Hand of God to stay underneath the tier 3 for as long as they could, but they're going to have to buy back on the TA themselves. Lanaya wants to get back into it as quickly as possible. Black, he did buy back, but Shadow Blading in, he ended up stunning himself instead. And it looks like they're all going to get on out of this one. Like, the Shadow Demon does have the Purge, is actually going to get sent back by the Test of Faith. So, in a good position here. Koikwa going to try to single out Ake, but it could be a pretty big mistake with Loda coming on in. Lucent Beam. Oh, Ake's going to get stunned out, but not Shadow Demon. He does get a nice defensive disruption. S4 is jumping on in. Desolator right clicks with the Blink Dagger on in. Vata almost dead. Tries to face shift and auto attack. He succeeds, but a Lucent Beam is there to clean him up. S4 going on in. Refraction on only a couple seconds cooldown. Can just get him if he only had detection. But unfortunately, oh, they do. He walks under the sentry. Oh, that was a sentry placed quite a long time ago. 2 full minutes ago. But pays off very, very nicely right there.
I mean, yeah, the base defense there completely basically held. They held on by the skin. If you look how low the tower is, and they held on. They cost them 2 or 3 buybacks there to hold on there. And now, already, Alliance are back on the warpath. And amazingly, Chen didn't die there. We came down to EGM with a fantastic disruption keeping up there, allowing him to come out with the heals afterwards. But there we go, tier 3 mid down. And now they're in some trouble here as it looks like the Bat Rider once again targeting the Nyx. They've been target firing this guy so damn hard. He had the buyback last fight to come back in with a stun. But there we go, melee mid-rax is down. They can sweep top now. Now's the time to sweep top. Glyph is down. That tower only has 420 health. Here we go. Alliance are on the warpath. And unfortunately, right now, Mousesports, they just don't have an answer. They just do not have an answer to this. The healing power from Aki is just too damn strong, especially with the urn as well in there. Who's firing out that urn? I think it's EGM who has it. Yeah, it is. Yeah, EGM has it. All this extra damage. I mean, look at the damage that Templar Assassins get. The Lunar Blessing is absolutely amazing for this lineup. So much bonus damage there.
Strong plays coming out of them. They take out 2 full sets of racks, and that's going to be the beginning of the end, in my opinion, for Mousesports here. They've already done 6 kills in a lineup where they're up against 2 very powerful late-game core heroes, and they only have 1 full lane to farm from. I mean, they will get some constant push pressure coming in from the lanes that have racks down, but also they're going to get less gold out of it. Luckily, Alchemist is one of those heroes who is okay with that because he gets a static gold bounty increase just from his Grievel's Greed, but it's still not going to be enough to really deal with the fact that Luna it continues to get further and further on. I think that's the butterfly in full. Yes, it is. And now we're going to see Fata go for a little bit of push play here. Going to jaunt back up to safety. But that's not going to be the case for Black. He just gets shredded.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, that armor reduction does so much damage.
Statsman called out, I think Music called out the fact he's taking 38% additional damage.
Yeah.
He's so, oh, wow. I mean, you get hit by a meld. Think about it, there's so much damage. It's ridiculous. You'd be taking about 600, 700 damage a hit from that. From the meld hit. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, 139% damage is exactly just so... Oh my gosh, those numbers, when you think about them... I mean, he does get more survivability with his ulti, but as we're seeing, it's not really... Oh, actually, forcing out a couple of BKBs right here. But, yeah, it just hasn't really changed anything. Like, he just gets locked down so hard, and... They have all the opportunity in the world to just finish him off in a matter of seconds now. The big Eclipse coming across. S4 going to clean up on 2. Double kill immediately with that Blink Meld Strike. Oh, this guy can just do wonders with those right clicks. And yeah, that's it. Good game, well played. He's going to come on through. Puck should be finished off as well, or might just disconnect on out. Fades and Blink just because he can, but he dies. In the end here, as they've taken all 6, that is going to be Mega Creeps, and that is going to be Game 1 in the bag. Now, this is still a best of 3. We're going to come back to you guys in a little bit with Game 2 of Alliance versus Mousesports, but Alliance showing a very strong streak to begin with.
Oh, yeah, I mean, Alliance, Jesus Christ, the aggression was insane, absolutely insane. They're charging in, causing so much damage. Absolutely terrible. I mean, this is like, this reminds me of, like, Navi going back to 2010, 2011. It just them just busting like Mega Creeps 25 minutes. That was what they did. They just charged and used stuff like Chen to take really early towers, team fight really, and just be so hard to kill early on with the early mech. just absolutely insane for them to do. And in fact, Shadow Demon for some reason has 2 4-stars because he can. Why the hell not? But yeah, I mean, what do you do against that? Like, you just they do not have the burst damage to deal with that. And especially once the BKBs came up, as Puck blinks in, does his thing, and then it's like activate BKBs, like, a Puck, what are you going to do? They just sit there attacking the towers, he just runs away, can't do a damn thing about it. So, I kind of feel bad for Mouse Sports, but yeah, definitely, I needed more teamfight potential to deal with that, it looks like.
Sure.
There just was not enough firepower to handle that. I mean, you've got stuff like, and then of course, like you mentioned earlier, the refraction against the high burst damage there was not good.
Nope, just couldn't do anything against. TA was always nearly full HP throughout the vast majority of the fights, and that they didn't have anything to compete with it at all. So the TA could stay up and kicking, the Luna stayed up long enough and got farmed enough that she became just a completely destructive factor and actually didn't die a single time. Loda 3-0 and 14 at the end of the game. One question I have for you. If the Battle Fury had not been picked up by Black, he would have obviously gone for the Lothars first, and then maybe made his way towards the BKB. Do you think that Alchemist would have fared better in this situation?
Maybe, maybe not. I mean, they've got, like, obviously, the Radiant were being incredibly aggressive. Alliance were trying to be super aggressive, and that could have given them the opening they needed to basically find Shen and scalpel him out of the lineup, or just completely destroy Luna, potentially, before she could get the Eclipse off. Because, I mean, that was turning a lot of early fights around the fact she just walked in Eclipse and everybody, even if they didn't die, they had to back the hell out to get away from that, so it would completely split the fight. But, on the other hand, I would expect, in that case, we would have seen a lot of early detection if he'd gone straight for the Shadow Blade, so in that case, he wouldn't have been able to really do it anyway. I think the biggest deal is, like, their potential really strong initiator was Puck, and it took him a while to get the Blink Dagger up and running, and the other one, of course, who could cause havoc was Nyx. But pretty much every single time, like we saw these fights time, was the opening of the fight was Bulldog jumps on Cinder and drags him out of position with a lasso, and he dies before he can do a damn thing. So I think that was probably a key part there, that they were immediately targeting and picking off a hero and making it 4v5, and then just allowing Eclipse to carry over the rest of it, and then of course the fact that they have the mass heals, and the nearly unkillable Templar Assassin.
Yeah, so that's all she wrote on that one there. Alliance starts strong with the game, taking out a couple towers, then winning team fights left and right. They just control it to the end. 26-11 in a 26.5-minute game. Alliance takes game 1. We'll be seeing game 2 in just a few minutes, guys. Thanks for tuning in to the Premier League Season 5 Mjolnir Cup Grand Finals here. We will be bringing you guys the second game of this best-of-3 series in just a few minutes. Stay tuned.